You're attuned to the leading edge with Saint, the pulse of cricket podcast. I'm Saint. Every week we bring you the stories, insights, and moments that drive this beautiful game. So hit the subscribe button and let's get straight into it. Welcome to another episode of Leading Edge with Saint at Round Podcast Studio. I'm hoping the year is actually going well for you. Yes, in South Africa, we just finished January, and hopefully there's other places in the world have finished January. So what we're going to talk about this week, it's simple, man. SA20, we finishing that tournament off. Congratulations to the three-time champions, Sunrisers, Eastern Cape, boys from Eqeberg. Again, congratulations to Pretoria Capitals. They did things that no one thought maybe might work, in the sense of they got rid of a huge chunk of their squad. They probably had like one or two people left. I'm not sure. I can verify that later. But they went to the auction with like the most amount of players that they had to buy, and it seems like it worked. And former Indian captain Ganguly, former South African captain Pollock, current South African coach, the women's side, Mandla. So they did well with that side. They got to the finals. Brevis got to another final. He did not win the final this time around, unlike when he was with MI Cape Town last season. And let's start with this. Before I start with the final, let's start with the team that I thought did the best, the team that outperformed, and the team that I would say, let me just actually rank them from worst to best. And it's no surprise that MI Cape Town is worst, honestly speaking. Last season, I would say they had like a season that no one expected, on the basis of, for two seasons in a row, they finished last. Came last season, things changed for them. I do not know which Nyanga they went to, but yeah, that worked. And then this season, things went back to normal for them. They struggled at home. They lost matches that probably they should have won at wrong times. And it is what it is. They finished last. Trent Bolt was very unlucky, I think. KG did not probably penetrate as much as people would have liked him to get wickets. Who else in that bowling? Because with MI Cape Town, it's about their bowlers, their strength. So they have Bolt, they have KG, and they also had was this Rashid Khan. And interesting enough as well, Shamsi's replacement did not get a ball in all those matches, which was quite interesting. But someone that had a good tournament in the MI Cape Town was Ryan Rickelton. He scored 2 centuries, and both of them were like 113. Congratulations to him. But Ryan only really, if a person had to analyze his performances, though, he got that 113, and didn't get any other, he didn't pass 50 any other time. I think he got 140 outside that. But his average outside those 2 innings, they were not really great. But in a tournament like this, sometimes you just need 2 great performances. And his performances, when he actually performed, were really great. But outside that, I would say Rassi was probably more consistent than him. Riza Hendricks was also more consistent than him. So what should MI Cape Town do? Go back to the drawing board, maybe find a strategy where they just maybe do what Pretoria Capitals did, do an overhaul of the squad. But they do have, I think, probably one of the most expensive squads. Nicholas Puran did say he did not live up So I'm thinking they need to bring back Nicholas Puran next season. And in the sense of he would have had an experience, he would have had tasted SA20 South African pitches more often than he's probably, because I can't remember the last time Puran was in South Africa. Because I stand to be corrected. It could be, doesn't matter. But anyways, so what's next for MI? I think do a squad overhaul, but still keep your pieces if you feel that's a winning combo. Maybe change the coaching staff. I know it's probably controversial, but I would have changed the coaching staff. I think Robbie P, after he won last season, I would have moved on because at the end of the day, I had finished last for 2 seasons in a row and then won. And the best time to do was probably to leave then, leave at the top, while your CV is still great. But other than that, Robbie P has been successful recently. He won the CSA T20 challenge with the Warriors. He also did well with the MI New York. So I guess his stocks are still up. They will probably will keep him. So now, which team do I have at 5? I really want to say DSG, but I'm going with Joburg Super Kings. And the unfortunate thing with Joburg Super Kings is that injuries. You They were a team with injuries in the sense of, like, look at it this way. They started the season, right, or the tournament with injuries in the sense of, so within the batters, they had Faf du Plessis, who got injured during the tournament at the crucial time. They had Donovan Ferreira, who got injured at the end. And within the start, they had Riley Rousseau, injured. The good thing with Riley is that although James Vince came in to help out, but the problem is it was already late in the sense of, again, Faf got injured at the wrong time. Donovan Ferreira got injured literally at the end. And yeah, man, things were just not right. But I do feel one thing about Ilando's JSK. I would have liked Vian Mulder to actually open. I would have liked Vian Mulder to open the batting and to see how he does at the top. But other than that, Joburg Super Kings, for me, I put them at 5, whether you like it or not, but it is what it is. What should they do for next season? They need to pray to the cricket gods that their players just don't get injured. I think they had a strong squad. They had a good squad. And another thing they need to make sure is that the Wanderers pitch, aka the Bull Ring, it needs to play true to itself. Right now, it seems like it's a spinning paradise. So if that's the case, they need to get more spinners in the team, like quality spinners. Not just with Donovan Ferreira, the man that does everything, the fielder, wicketkeeper, the batter, can bat anywhere, and the bowler, you know. But I would say they were an interesting one. I also believe that as much as Subrian played well initially within the tournament, I do feel they overplayed him. I do think Subrian was overplayed. But I also get it in the sense of, you, as much as it's T20 cricket and you want to get wickets, sometimes you just want to make sure that the economy is not that high. And Subrian was doing that job, I guess. And then at number 4, I have DSG. DSG bought a winning captain in Aiden Markram. Did Aiden Markram deliver? I think within the end, he did deliver in the sense of he did score 100, but he didn't have help. I think once Donovan Conaway left, they did lose some sort of firepower at the front, but they were never sure of their opening combination. Kane Williamson at some point was opening, and then he was dropped. Aiden Markram at some point was not opening, and then he ended up opening in the end. and he actually delivered. So I would say again with the DSG, they just need when it comes to their batting, I would say they just need to make sure that Aiden Markram, the team is built around Aiden Markram because I feel like the team was kind of built around Heinrich Klaasen, and Klaasen is going through a terrible form right now. It didn't start now. If anyone follows him in the MLC, what is Major League Cricket, he did not have a good season in the sense of he was the captain of his team, but he was the captain and then he ended up being dropped or he decided to relinquish the captaincy and it was given to Raza. So I don't know what they need to do. I think Klaasen needs to find a way. Maybe Klaasen needs to do what Quinton de Kock did as well. You know, just take a break from cricket just a bit and just find yourself again because again, Klaasen is a class player. You know, you don't get bad overnight. I still feel he's a really great cricket player and he will come right for EDSG. I don't know about the Proteas, but like maybe reverses and then like I want to play again. But I just feel like in terms of EDSG and his T20 cricket, I think he's going to come right. He just has to probably heal if he has an injury. So yeah, man. But I just do believe that the TSG needs to build their batting lineup around Aiden Markram, their captain. For me, he is the star of that. And he's the second most expensive SA20 player in history. I know we like on season 4, but it's still the second most expensive player. And then it comes to the bowling. I was so interested to see what Tukwenama Parker is going to do with Gerald Kutsia because these guys played together at the under-19 for South Africa. But they did not deliver. Hopefully, they will deliver in the coming season if they're still with the TSG. Yeah, so TSG will need to make a play there. But I think those two have a potential of complementing each other. And then you add maybe Ethan Bosch and maybe another overseas pace bowler in there, maybe an all-rounder. So we'll see how that goes. And then they had Nareen, they had Noor Ahmed. Noor Ahmed, for me, did not live up this season. But it is what it is. And then in number 3, now the question is it Pretoria Capitals at number 3? Or is it Paarl Royals? And I'm really confused in this one. Because for me, I actually want to say Paarl Royals was the best team. This is my opinion because we all knew the potential of what the Sunrisers did. So in that, and based on surprises as well, I'm taking Sunrisers and I'm putting it at number 3. They were the champions, yes. They made changes, yes. Like they made a lot of changes in their playing 11, but in their whole squad in general, there wasn't many changes because there were guys like Patrick Kruger still in the squad. The King brothers were still there, but they didn't get to play. But in terms of the playing team, Sunrisers actually just kept it simple. You know, a blueprint was just there. They had 2 opening batters at the top that they were very comfortable with. When it comes to Quinton de Kock, when it comes to Besto, guys who have a lot of experience, international experience, and great fielders as well, and they understand the game. Besto was in South Africa in the last SA20 as well, so he knew the conditions in South Africa in different places, but he was just not with the Sunrisers. Quinton de Kock, I don't know what Quinton de Kock has done, but he went away, he went fishing, and he's come back now full of life. And in a way, he's still kind of the same Quinton de Kock, but he takes things even less serious and he takes probably more things in life more serious in the sense of, I remember in one of the matches in Quebec, he got out, played really well, He wasn't upset. He saw his daughter. He said hi to his daughter. They're at the top, you know. Again, he was just that person. And recently, as well, did well for South Africa. And he was batting with Ipatlika Brevis. You know, Brevis was taking this more serious than Quentin de Cockton was like, whatever. And he's always been that person. In terms of even their bowling lineup, there wasn't much changes in the sense they lost the first was this a qualifier. They lost the first qualifier against Pretoria Capitals because they made an error within their blueprint. Now, Adam Milne got injured and they replaced him with Gregory. Now, Gregory is a bowling all-rounder, very experienced guy from England. But the problem with Gregory is that he's a medium pacer. I wouldn't say he's like a real pace bowler. And the blueprint of Sunrisers is Marco Jansen opens, and on the other side, they need a pace bowler. Before that, they had Batman. They had Daniel Warrell that I spoke about. They've had Makala. Do you get what I'm saying? So they've always had those type of specific pace bowlers. And this time around, what did they do? They dropped Gregory and they played Lutosi Pamla. Lutosi Pamla, in those last two matches that they played, in the second qualifier and the final, he got a wicket in his first over. Crucial wicket of Shea Hope, I think, in the final. Now, was Lutosi Pamla very economical? Not necessarily. But did he get the important wicket? Yes. Did the blueprint stay the same? Yes. So, in terms of Sunrisers, I think they did well. But they're still number 3 for me because not much really. They didn't. It wasn't a surprise, man, these guys. But the good thing is that they won the trophy. And Adrian Barrell did say something specific. Their goal is to reach the final. And they did. And they've reached now 4 consecutive finals. That's great. They're building a legacy, and legacy will be SA20, but we'll see how things go. So it's clear that within that system, it's not about who captains. It's not about everyone else. I think it's about the coaching staff. I think it's about Adrian Barrell. I think it's about what he's put in that team, and that's what most teams want. You want, if you lose your best player or you lose this, you lose that, there is someone out there to come in and take the spot without feeling that there is a hole in the sense. So, yeah. And then at number 2, I have Pretoria Capitals. At number 2, I have Pretoria Capitals. And the reason being is that the difference between Pretoria Capitals and Power Royals, that's what we're going to speak about. Because I'm going to speak about these teams in tandem. Power Royals, right, went to this auction. They were criticized in the sense of they didn't have stars. They didn't have this. They didn't have that. They're going to do well. Everyone had predicted, including myself. Everyone had predicted that they will make the playoffs for the first time. I thought maybe they might finish 5 or 6, but most people thought they'll finish 6th. And then on the other hand, you have Pretoria Capitals. Now, with the Capitals, is that they were a team that went to the auction with a lot of work to do. And they had told themselves is that they're either going to get Aiden Markram or they're going to get Brevis. And they're going to go big on both of those players. They lost out on Aiden and they went big on Brevis. And they got Brevis for a record SA20 fee. And then that also meant that their purse, which is their budget, was depleted a lot. So they needed to get pieces around that. And one of the things that they did well was to get Keshav Maharaj, because Keshav could do something, which is they needed a captain. Their captain before was Ulanduk Wayne Parnell. I think Wayne Pinal captained them well. Problem with Wayne Pinal is that he was always injured. I don't recall a season where he actually finished, where he was fully fit throughout the season. And then the West Indies, the West Indian guys, Rutherford from Guyana, Shea Hope from Barbados, including Roston Chase, they really delivered for Elandos. They really delivered for Pretoria Capitals. I would say the overseas guys really delivered. Uh, they lost the final, yes, but I think they lost the final. What I would have done, because they dropped Andre Russell, and I get why they dropped Andre Russell. He came in late and he didn't adapt quickly to South African conditions about SA20. But what I would have, it's probably controversial, but I wouldn't have picked Gideon Peters. I would have gone again with Mills from England, because Mills, as much as he didn't get a lot of wickets, he was really troublesome at the start. He was really troublesome at the top. So I would have probably done that. That's different. And I'm not saying by doing that, the Pretoria Capitals would have won the trophy. But at the end of the day, I cannot fault, because Gideon Peters actually, they got to the finals because of Gideon Peters' contribution. Not just him, but his part of the contribution was very high. As well done to Ulungisani Ngidi, in the sense, not a lot of people probably thought he will really do well. In the sense, Power Royals didn't really go for their old player. And Ulungi did not get as many wickets probably he would have liked, but he had a lot of dot balls. I stand to be corrected, but I don't think there was a player who had more dot balls than Ulungi Saningit. So yeah, well done to him as well. Honourable mention. But the biggest honourable mention, I think, goes to Mukwen Mobil. No one knew this kid. Very few people that follow South African cricket actually knew about him. And he left. He's probably at home now or practicing. I'm not sure if he's actually playing for the Dolphins this week in the CSA 4-day challenge. But he literally went home and a lot of people were talking about him. He was the talk of the town. Alongside Upartman was the talk of the town. Who else was the talk of the town? Oh, David Miller was the talk of the town, I think. Had David Miller not got injured, they might have reached the finals. The Power Royals, which is, I believe, was the best team. Raza was exceptional for them. Bjorn Fortuin took a while, I think, on my end. But again, Bjorn Fortuin's contribution is hard to say it was the best. I mean, it was better than Raza, because Raza was getting wickets. But what Bjorn Fortuin was doing was that he was keeping the opposition quiet as much as possible. Out of all the matches that he played, he didn't go above 30, not once. So that says something about Bjorn Fortuin's cricket. I don't want to say he outsmarted a lot of batters, but he did, you know. So yeah, who else in that team that really, really, really went hard? Our Ruben Herman. He was an interesting pick in the sense of, even when he was not doing well, the team was actually picking him. So he's clearly a very important part of Orlando Power Royals. But yeah, Power Royals, I'll say, for me, was the best team in the tournament. They had some good youngsters, Asa Tribe, Luandre, Pretorius, Lion, Keegan Lion, Chart. Yeah, man. So I still say, like, I want to say the best team is the Sunrisers, but the more I think about it, the more I say Power Royals. And They did well. Kudos to Kuma Sangakara as well, because he was the one who was there at that auction. Um, Kudos again to the Pretoria Capitals guys. Kudos to the Sunrisers. And the bottom three, I can't necessarily say kudos. I think Lance Klusner needs to do well next season. He has to do well if he's probably going to stay longer with the DSG. But I think with Ulanduk, I think with Aiden Markram in the team, they might plan better for the following year. I actually thought they might reach the final because my two teams were Sunrisers. Had I betted on that betting website that sponsors the tournament, which is Betway, I would have gone for Sunrisers or DSG. And I got disappointed when DSG didn't get to the playoffs. But they almost made the playoffs. So, yeah, that's the team, top six. And right now, I want to talk about the team of the tournament. Betway SA20 team of the tournament came out. And Aiden Markram alongside Quinton de Kock opened. And number 3, they had Ryan Rickelton. And then at 4 was Brevis. And then at 5 is Jordan Herman. At 6 is Rutherford. At 7, it's Marco Janssen. At 8 is Raza. I don't know why Raza is betting lower than Marco, but it is what it is. And then at 9, it was Maharaj. At 10, it was Norkia. And then at 11, Bartman. And then 12th man was Mukwen, Mobile Mukwen. So yeah, that's the team. How do I feel about the team? The team was actually almost perfect, if you ask me. Okay, I'm going to read my team because before that team came out, I actually had my team written out. So my team had Quinton de Kock and Rickelton at the top. I know it's two lefties, but I don't think Rickelton can actually bat properly at 3. He's hot opening and Quinton de Kock is hot opening. So I have Aiden Markram at 3, and then I had Hope at 4. I have Brevis at 5. I have, what do I have at 6? I have Billa at 6, actually. And then I had Rutherford at 7. And then I had Raza at 8. I have Marco at 9. I have Batman at 10. And I have Norke at 11. Similar, but the difference is I have Shea Hope in my team and I have Miller in my team. You know, I felt Miller had he not been injured because Miller played some exceptional knocks. He literally played some exceptional knocks and he led his team from the front. Again, he was literally the face of his team. He was the biggest player in his team. They didn't have any stars, and he was the main star. And he lived up to him being a star. I spoke about Rickelton. I spoke about Quinton de Kock. There's no need for me to speak about those guys more. Then I have Shea Hope at 4. He's not opening, but I don't think that's a problem. Markram is also not opening. But he did have an exceptional tournament, I believe, in the sense of Shea Hope actually has now the highest score, SA20. So the West Indies captain had an exceptional season with SA20, and his first one as well. And then at 5, I have Brevis. Do I need to say more? Brevis had about 3 exceptional knocks. He had an exceptional knock in the final. He got his first SA20 100. But there was a time when Pretoria Capitals was literally in trouble. And what did he do? He didn't just hit himself out. He literally built what you call a partnership. You know, he did that with Rutherford as well. And here's another thing about Uprivis, the way that he played. If you're a coach and you want your players to actually watch a player build innings, be it T20 cricket, be it test match, as in first class cricket or one day cricket, that knock, Previous will probably be one of those. No, Previous is that blueprint that you want to give to your players to say, watch a batter construct their innings when the team is in trouble and when the team is not in trouble. Learn. So yeah, man, he was literally that. Perfect case study. Perfect case study. Maybe we might have Uprivis as a case study in these coaching certificates in SA. I don't know, but he was perfect. And then Miller. I just spoke about Miller. I think he captained the team well, his side well. Rutherford, for me, he was like the player of the tournament. He was a star. Um, no one expected he would be such a big buy as well, in the sense of everyone thought someone like Andre Russell would outperform and do well for Pretoria Capitals, and it wasn't him. It wasn't the Jamaican; it was actually the Guyanese, Rutherford, who was actually the main guy for Ilan Pretoria Capitals and their main overseas player. And then you have Oraza, the Zimbabwean captain. He came at the right time for Orlando, for Power Royals, in the sense Power Royals lost their first match against Sunrisers badly. They were embarrassed. And then they came back in the second match, and David Miller played an exceptional knock in that second match, and they won it. It wasn't just David Miller, it was also Keegan as well. Luandre as well, actually. But after that, Raza came to Ilanduk, the Royals. Raza came to the Royals and he did an exceptional job. He played well. There's not much to say about that. He took wickets. He was economical. But I would say this, though. Closer at the end of the tournament, Raza was not the Raza at the start of the tournament. So it could be that the analysis, the teams found a way to play Raza, but Raza was exceptional either way. And then Marco Janssen opens the bowling for me. He was exceptional throughout the tournament, especially with the ball. In the final, he was also exceptional. And then at 10, I have Opartman. Opartman made a lot of people talk. A lot of people wanted him to be in the SA team. And I think that was also unfair for people to expect that, in the sense of Kwena is in the team, and probably a lot of people were saying Opartman should take Kwena's place. But let's be honest about one thing. In a team that has KG, right? In a team that has Marco Janssen, in a team that has Norkia, in a team that has Lungingit, those are your main four pace bowlers, front bowlers. And then you add Opartman. Is Opartman really going to play? No, he's actually not going to play. And three of those pacers might actually be the ones that play more. What's going to happen is that Ukwena Mapaka is not going to play. Yes, he played the warm-up matches, but Ukwena is not going to play. Ukwena is going to be on the bench. Ukwena is going to be learning. He's the guy that's coming in the future, He's the guy that's going to lead the bowling attack for South Africa with Gerald Kutsia in the near future. Upartman is already 30 or he's in his early 30s. What is he going to learn sitting on the side? What is he going to learn? Just going to packing his bag and touring India and touring Sri Lanka? Nah, he might as well be part of the Ilanduk, the Dolphins, and play more cricket. And hopefully, maybe he might make the next World Cup. Maybe he might make the Olympic team. We don't know. But the good thing about Upartman, though, he did show he is one of the best seam bowlers around in the country. And he put everyone on notice, basically, as well. He put the Sunrisers on notice in the sense of, you guys should not have let me go. But Now I'm in my own team and I'm leading the bowling lineup. So that's actually good for Orlando. What do you call this? Superman. And then the last or player I have is South Africa's fastest man, and that's Nortje. This guy comes back from injury, and guess what? He decides, I'm going to bowl quick. I am going to bowl quick. It doesn't matter if I was injured. When I'm returning, I am bowling quick. So, yeah, my Nortje. Now, the thing about Nortje, there were times where he did get punished by the opposition, but it didn't matter. It literally did not matter. He did well. He won his first SA20 trophy under Sunrisers. So yeah, so that's my team. And I also have this other honorable team on the side. Please hear this team. I have Donovan Conway. The way that he played these first two matches for DSG, I really think he was that. Parsons. I call Parsons the guy with the golden arm. You know, yes, in the final, his golden arm didn't golden arm the way that maybe Pretoria Capitals wanted to, but in that last over, but Parsons had this golden arm and he played some exceptional knocks as well. He played one with the Brevis actually, and then Nikki P, Puran, in specific matches, AI the guy's strike rate was over at 200. As I said, this is not about consistency. It's just about specific knocks that or plays that players actually had. And then I had Jordan Herman. He could have been part of my other team, but I don't have him there. And then Adam Coles. Yes. And then I have Donovan Ferreira, the man who does everything. Unfortunately, he's injured right now. Then I also have Roston Chase. And the reason why I have Roston Chase is that there was a match where Josh Butler had to get, I think, 18 runs of Chase in the last over, and he only considered 2 runs. So no one expected Ulandoka Chase to actually defend the 18 because Butler was actually on hot form. He was literally hot at that point. And then I have Keegan Lyon Chart, yes. I have Sue Bryan. So Bryan had this exceptional match at Kingsmead. Yeah, so that's the only reason he's in the team. And then you have Adam Milne. He was really perfect for Ilanduk Sunrisers. And I would say he wasn't just perfect, he was like literally that right fit. He was literally that right fit. Especially once Upatman left, but he more reminded me of Daniel Worrell. And then we have Ngobane Mukwenda. There's nothing more to say about the kid. I already spoken about him. But overall, man, the tournament I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the tournament. I'm not going to tell you which team I support, but I am from Cape Town. So, yeah. But yeah, my producer is from Joburg. So I don't know if she likes the fact that I put her team at 5. But her team looked better than my team, honestly speaking. Yeah, well done again to the Sunrisers. Well done to the organizers, including the guys that do the media. About Lerato, not just about Graham Smith. No, man, guys, it was a well-run tournament until next year or until the next auction. Yeah, SA20 was fantastic. Congratulations again to the Sunrisers. I don't know if they'll make it 4 championships out of 5, but don't bet against them. Nah, don't. Unless Adrian Barrel decides to retire. If he decides to retire and be like, nah, I'm out, then yeah, I will bet against them. But next year, I'm also betting for them. Leading Edge with Saint, Roundly Podcast Studio. Until another episode, thank you again for listening. SA20 is wrapped. Thanks for tuning in to The Leading Edge with Scent, the Pulse of Cricket podcast, proudly produced by Roundly Podcast Studio in partnership to bring you the stories and the voices of cricket. Until next time, stay on the leading edge of the game.